The trial of a former police officer accused of killing George Floyd hits a snag. We show you a new charge that Derek Chauvin could face and the reaction from the Floyd family.
The Kentucky FOP responds to a controversial new bill. More on the push to make insulting an officer a crime, now at 8:30.
That's beautiful. It's very, very kind of people thinking of people in the hospital these days. Just little things like this are beautiful.
Little letters going a long way. How a card-making campaign is connecting strangers to people in isolation.
Breaking news alerts and the Weather Authority forecast. This is Good Morning Cincinnati on Star 64.
And welcome back to Good Morning Cincinnati at 8:30. I'm John Lomax.
And I'm Bob Herzog. Thank you for joining us today. Here's what's happening right now. Jury selection is slated to get underway in the Derek Chauvin trial today. It was pushed back while a separate court considers a third charge for the former Minneapolis police officer who's accused of killing George Floyd. Michael George is outside the courtroom with the latest.
Derek Chauvin's trial is off to a slow start.
Should we keep going while they consider the motion?
Jury selection was pushed back to today while a separate court considers a third charge for the former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing George Floyd.
We have the murder three, which I think all agree I don't have jurisdiction to work with right now.
State prosecutors want to add third-degree murder, which could be easier to prove, but it could take weeks to get a decision.
Your Honor, we're not trying to delay this case. We want to try this case, but we want to try it right. And we only have the ability to try it once.
Chauvin is facing second-degree murder and manslaughter. The defense plans to argue Floyd died of a drug overdose rather than from the officer's knee on his neck.
We know that there were drugs in the squad car that contained Mr. Floyd's DNA.
The trial delay is an unwelcome twist for a city that's been at the center of a nationwide push for police reform since Floyd's death 10 months ago. 18 stories below the courtroom, protesters were on the streets demanding justice.
I don't know what this talk of trial of the century is. All y'all gotta do is do the right thing.
Floyd's sister Bridget was in the courtroom yesterday.
I want you guys to continue to pray for our family because we need it.
Only one member of Floyd's and Chauvin's families are allowed inside due to coronavirus restrictions. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
16 of 50 prospective jurors have been released after filling out a questionnaire. The rest will face questioning from the judge and the attorneys. There will be 12 jurors and 2 alternates.
This morning, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend no longer faces any charges. Kenneth Walker fired a single shot at a Louisville police officer when police broke down the door of Taylor's apartment in a drug raid last March. Walker says he thought they were intruders. Taylor was shot and killed when officers returned fire. The attempted murder charge was dropped last year, but a legal maneuver meant that it could be restored. Yesterday, a judge dropped it permanently. Walker is suing the department for misconduct.
The Kentucky State FOP is speaking up for a bill that's getting a lot of attention. A new Kentucky bill would make it a crime to insult or taunt a police officer. The punishment would be 90 days in jail and a $250 fine. Critics say the order stifles free speech and discourages protests, but Ryan Straw says it's about safety.
But I don't think anyone is going to be looking to cite somebody because they say something mean to them. They're looking more, and I think the purpose of the bill is looking more at those who continually provoke law enforcement to have to act in a situation where they typically wouldn't have. And the fact that sometimes hands are placed and other body parts or even things in people's hands are placed on officers when you get upset. And we understand that, but we also want a little bit of protections in there and be able to hold people accountable who aren't doing the peaceful protesting.
The bill will soon be debated in the state Senate.
President Biden is more than 3/4 of the way of meeting his goal of 100 million COVID-19 vaccines in his first 100 days in office. More than 90 million shots have reached more than 70% of the U.S. population. The Biden administration is also pushing a federal response strategy in contrast to the Trump administration's state-driven approach. Dr. Caitlin Rivers is an epidemiologist at Johns Hopkins University. She says clear public health messaging is crucial.
We just never got that really crisp, continuous messaging that could help people to navigate this really difficult year.
The Biden administration plans to invest $250 million in an effort to encourage COVID-19 safety and vaccination among underserved populations. On Thursday, President Biden will make his first primetime address.
Taking a live look at our nation's capital now. Tomorrow, the House is expected to vote on President Biden's nearly $2 trillion COVID relief bill. It's expected to pass and go to the president's desk for final approval. Now, the package includes $1,400 stimulus checks for about 85% of Americans and $34 billion to expand Affordable Care Act subsidies. That means more people will be able to buy health care on the exchanges and others will have lower insurance premiums. Raising the minimum wage to $15 is no longer in the bill. It did not survive in the Senate. A White House senior advisor, though, says the president will keep pushing for the hike because he believes no one should work 40 hours a week and still live in poverty.
A new study shows this economic relief package could cut child poverty in half. The Center on Poverty and Social Policy at Columbia University analyzed the American Rescue Plan and its impact on poverty just for this year. Child poverty ranks the highest in black children at 21.5%. The new relief package would reduce the poverty rate to 9.4%. That's a change of more than 12 percentage points or more than 1.2 million black children. The relief plan expands the child care tax credit and increases SNAP food benefits. The president still wants to pursue an increased minimum wage, but that's not in the current plan. That would impact the poverty rates of black, white, and Hispanic children by more than 50%.
The impact on kids is just particularly striking because it actually represents cutting child poverty in half, by more than half, actually, just in 2021.
The study found the proposals would keep 5.6 million children from falling into poverty and 13 million Americans in total. Researchers point out some parts of the policy don't extend beyond this year. If they did, though, researchers said that child poverty would continue to decline. You can learn more about Cincinnati's high childhood poverty rate at cincinnatipoverty.com.
Happening now, Xavier University is encouraging people to give back during March Gladness. It's a massive fundraising campaign where students, parents, and alumni can donate to causes on campus. Some of this year's causes include scholarships, student clubs, and funding for the first ever child care center on campus. The campaign wraps up tomorrow at midnight. We have a link to join in at local12.com.
The Cincinnati Art Museum is expanding its operating hours. Beginning today, it will be open 6 days a week. That's every day except Monday. Hours are 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, except Thursday when it's open until 8 at night. Advanced registration to visit, though, is still required. Admission is free, except to the special Frank Duveneck exhibit, which is still up through the end of the month.
President Biden makes bold moves on International Women's Day, how he says a gender policy council could help struggling mothers during the pandemic. And beer is connecting tri-state women with a famous Pakistani activist. More on the Malala American Pale Ale coming up.
Brewing is celebrating Women's History Month with the release of Malala. This picture is from MADTREE's Instagram. The Oakley Tap Room says Malala is an American Pale Ale and is to honor the activist fight for female education and how she encouraged all of us to never stop learning. MADTREE is also paying homage to its staff, featuring all 32 women of MADTREE on the can's label. Meantime, the real-life Malala Yousafzai is teaming up with Apple TV+. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate says she'll work with the streaming platform to create documentaries, comedies, and children's programming. All of the shows will focus on female empowerment. No word yet on when Malala's new content will launch on Apple TV+. The United Nations agency, UNESCO, has a new queen bee. Angelina Jolie is being named a godmother for the UNESCO program, The Women of Bees. The Women of Bees is focused on bringing more diversity to the beekeeping business. Its courses train women on how to run their own beehive community. Ecologists point to the survival of bee populations as vitally important to maintain food supplies around the globe. President Biden is making moves to promote gender equality. During an International Women's Day ceremony, the president celebrated the nominations of 2 women in the top defense leadership positions, while also committing to fight sexual assaults in the military. Natalie Brand has more on the event and a new executive action from Washington.
The White House marked International Women's Day with an executive order to create a gender policy council. It comes at a time when women are disproportionately suffering from the pandemic's economic fallout.
One of the reasons that women are leaving work is, first because they're in industries that are really under stress, like hospitality, retail. but also because they have caregiving needs that they can't meet.
A second executive order asked the Department of Education to review policy changes made under the Trump administration to Title IX, the federal law prohibiting sex-based discrimination in education. One of the goals is to make sure college campuses appropriately handle allegations of sexual assault.
The Biden administration is also marking the occasion with the historic selection of 2 women to key military command posts.
We all need to see and to recognize the barrier-breaking accomplishments of these women.
Monday afternoon, the President, Vice President, and Defense Secretary celebrated the nominations of Army Lieutenant General Laura Richardson to lead U.S. Southern Command and Air Force General Jacqueline Van Ovost to lead U.S. Transportation Command.
General Van Ovost and Lieutenant General Richardson have been tested under the most difficult circumstances, and they are proven leaders.
If confirmed, it will be a first, 2 women serving as combatant commanders at the same time. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
First Lady Jill Biden joined the Secretary of State at the 2021 International Women of Courage Awards ceremony, which honored more than a dozen women from all over the world. Honorary awards were also given to 7 Afghan women who were murdered in 2020 while serving their communities. Bruno Mars wants a little bit of Cincinnati at this year's Grammys while he's fighting for his new band with Bootsy Collins just days before the show. Coming up next.
Everyone, more than 17 million people tuned in to watch Oprah Winfrey's interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. The explosive interview aired yesterday in the UK. It's not going over real well with many people. Piers Morgan says he's just furious about the allegations against the royal family.
This is a 2-hour trash-a-thon of our royal family, of the monarchy, of everything the Queen has worked so hard for, and it's all been done as Prince Philip lies in hospital. They trash everybody.
It should be noted that there are a lot of people now unhappy with Piers Morgan. In the interview, Harry and Meghan revealed why they stepped back from official royal life. Meghan says she found life as a royal so difficult that she had suicidal thoughts and said there were concerns in the family about baby Archie's skin color. Harry and Prince Charles stopped talking, said that Prince Charles stopped taking his calls for a while, and was cut off financially last year.
Beth Hartman could be hitting Broadway. The Queen's Gambit was a novel, then a Golden Globe winning miniseries, and now possibly a musical. According to Variety, the development team, Level Forward, has bought the rights to the original novel. It says the story is a siren call amidst our contemporary struggles for gender and racial equity. If there's no word, though, if anyone from the miniseries might be involved with the stage show.
Well, it was a good weekend for Coming to America. The movie had the best opening weekend of any film on a streaming service since the pandemic began. How about that? That's according to the digital tracking firm Screen Engine ASI, though it does not reveal specific viewership numbers. The Eddie Murphy sequel premiered last Friday on Amazon Prime. I know a lot of people didn't love it, but it speaks to the popularity of that original. People were just dying to see that movie.
And I think if people are honest, that they look at that movie for what it is, and it's a good 2 hours to spend anywhere. So, hey, the Grammys are this Sunday, but singer Bruno Mars is not thrilled about the performer lineup. The singer took to Twitter to ask the Recording Academy to add his new band to the list of performers. Mars recently formed Silk Sonic with Anderson .Paak and Cincinnati's own Bootsy Collins. Their debut single, Leave the Door Open, premiered last week. Mars told the Recording Academy they would follow all safety protocols. He said they have not been able to perform in a while, but they just want to sing. So far, the Recording Academy has not responded to his request.
Listen, Academy, listen. If you've got Brain One in your head, find 2 or 3 minutes.
Right. If the little man wants to sing, let the little man sing.
Find it. Give one of the awards away during a commercial break. Nobody cares about that anyway.
Look at the last time he's at the Grammys. That's all you got to do.
Oh, he just as a performer, he is fire, that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, don't be dumb. Just get it done. Hey, in West Philadelphia, born and raised in the libraries where this high school senior spent most of her days. I'll stop. Now her hard work is paying off. Shania Robinson Owens has racked up more than $1 million in college scholarship offers. She applied to roughly 30 schools and has so far been accepted to 18 of them. Shania plans to pursue a degree in psychology.
You know, $300 can get you quite a bit of food, but at an Italian restaurant in Tunisia, it can get you Africa's most expensive pizza. L'Antica Pizzeria De Pietro offers diners a $360 pizza. It's covered with luxury foods. For example, it's topped with truffle cream, smoked duck breast, and 24-karat edible gold leaf, among other things. While the creator's proud of the pizza, many on social media are expressing their distaste for the price. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to eat it. It's just one of a kind things anyway.
Do you got any interest in eating gold?
Not even in the least.
I don't really either.
Yeah.
I mean, I just,
I'm afraid you might mess up.
My duodenum. You know how I feel about my duodenum, John. I try to take care of it. One thing the last year has taught us is that healing often begins with simple acts of kindness. Meg Oliver shows us how some letters from strangers are helping hospital patients in New Jersey.
Hi, Mark. I have a card for you.
Oh, a card.
Mark Fugel was alone for 5 days, recovering from a recent surgery when he received this handmade card from a neighbor he doesn't even know.
That's beautiful. It's very, very kind of people thinking of people in the hospital these days. Just little things like this are beautiful.
Yeah, it is about love. 74-year-old Eileen Michaels is the mastermind behind a movement to make sure everyone feels loved. It all started at the height of the pandemic.
Not only were people suffering, but they were suffering alone.
So the former executive on Wall Street and nurse put out a call on social media, asking her community in Ocean Grove, New Jersey, to start writing cards for patients. Within hours, hundreds arrived on her doorstep.
How does it make you feel when you open your front door and you see all of this on your front
Christmas? Christmas! It's like, oh my God.
Most of the writers are unknown, but Michaels say they come from all backgrounds and ages, including 7-year-old Adriana.
We're going to give them to the people that are sick.
Pretty soon we have cards coming out of our ears. There's at least 100 cards.
Carol Rizzo helped distribute the cards at Jersey Shore University Medical Center.
Did you see a change with the patient when they opened up the card?
I don't want to say crying. It was sort of tearful, I think. Really appreciative of the fact that somebody had gone out of their way.
Michael says if you ask, people will lend a hand.
You're bringing the community together.
We made a community as a result of my work and then other people joining, and it just goes.
Creating a community of givers, one small gesture at a time.
You made my day.
Meg Oliver, CBS News, New Jersey.
From Local 12, the Weather Authority, this is Tara Blake's hour-by-hour forecast.
That's a warm your heart kind of story. All right, let's take a look at your forecast for you here. We're warming up to 67 your high today, 68 for us tomorrow, 67 by Thursday, but rain chances are starting to move on in. So the dry days to take advantage of today and tomorrow. We're back with wet weather on Thursday, especially in the afternoon and evening. Increasing Thursday nights will certainly be here for Friday morning, and then exiting out and away from us this weekend. Another look at rainfall by Monday, though. So see, there's not much dry to enjoy, especially dry and warm. And if you're thinking, well, we haven't had rain in the much in the month of March, put that all together, you'd be right. We've actually only had trace amounts, but above average precipitation is expected through the 18th. Rainfall amounts that would include your Thursday, Friday, little Saturday, and all the way into next week does show upwards of about 1.5 to 2.5 inches. So rainfall is increasing, but the weekend will be drying out and we will be cooler too. So upper 60s become lower 50s. This is where we should be, but we do get more sun, which would be a nice welcome change. We'll talk more about that coming up at your 7-day forecast for today. Partly cloudy, 67.
Good morning. As we wrap up the morning commute, we still have a few slow spots out there. Columbia Parkway, actually, that looks a little better than it did even a couple minutes ago. It's now down to 10 minutes from Red Bank to downtown, so that got a little lighter for us here. But 7175 northbound is still slow. You're running about 14 to 16 minutes from 275 to downtown. So still seeing that back up because 2 lanes are closed in each direction on the Brent Spence Bridge. Just a reminder there. And we're not bad on 471, 5 minutes from 275 to downtown at this point. On the Ohio side, it's only 15 minutes from 275 all the way to downtown, but a reminder that, of course, 2 lanes close in that direction as well. And the ramp from 71 southbound Fort Washington Way onto the Brent Spence Bridge is closed. They will detour you continuing 71 southbound onto 471 southbound, but no other delays or problems right now. Let's get a look at this beautiful weather. Here's Tara.
Mix of sun and clouds returns to the tri-state for you today, along with upper 60s. This is 17 degrees above normal. If you can, take advantage, at least any little moment that you can squeak in some time outside in the warmth. Tomorrow, 68 with more clouds and breezy winds. That's how we're reaching nearly 70 degrees in spots. Breezy with rainfall by Thursday, more likely Thursday night into Friday morning. I will certainly be here letting you know about any concerns. Jen and I will be watching for water on the roadways as well. The weekend is then cooler after our cold front with another rain shot by Monday. And I'll talk more about the impacts on your weekend coming up on Local 12 at 9. Jen, Bob.
All right, Tara, thank you. And good morning, everyone. I'm Bob Herzog. Let's check some of those top stories of the day. New this morning, a Laughlin man will appear before a Hamilton County judge today for allegedly attempting to rob a tri-state bank. Court documents state that Christopher Duke passed a teller at U.S. Bank a note stating, "Give me all the money." It happened yesterday at the Laughlin location on William Street. Also new this morning, the city of Oxford and Miami University each have put up $350,000 to bring Amtrak to the city. The $700,000 will go toward the design and construction of a platform at Chestnut Fields located on South Main Street. The platform would have an unmanned kiosk. Currently, the city is negotiating with vendors on design and cost estimates for the platform. The city of Oxford provided these drawings. And speaking of things that may be on the way, Trader Joe's is planning a new location in northern Kentucky. Trader Joe's expected to move to the Crestview Hills Town Center and to the former Joseph Beth bookseller space. The company hasn't confirmed plans, but we're told Trader Joe's is in the process of applying for a liquor license. Hey, it's a Tail Wagging Tuesday. Tag, you're it. Debbie's dogs just love trying to outwit each other. He's never gonna find me. I'm on the other side of the shed. Upload your pet's videos, pictures too by clicking on the Chime In tab at the top of the Local 12 homepage. That's great. Coming up on Good Morning Cincinnati in our 9 o'clock hour on Local 12, Chowing Down. Cincinnati Magazine takes us inside some of the best family-owned restaurants in the city. And we have music from country singer Rain Johnson. Lots coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. I'm sure you'll enjoy. So if you've been watching Good Morning Cincinnati on Star 64, come over to Local 12. If you're on Local 12 now, just don't go anywhere. 9 o'clock hour, ready to roll.
Breaking